sources close to the situation has already determined that Colorado is going to the Big 12. I know there was videos made previously saying that they would most likely be the first to leave to the Big 12. Well, I'm letting you know that it's official. Everything has been done and signed. Colorado is going to the Big 12. Okay, this explains why the Pac-12 have been strongly considering adding 2 teams and possibly even 4. Because not only is Colorado going to the Big 12, it's a good chance that Arizona may also go to the Big 12. So that would leave them to 8. And that's kind of like what happened with the Big 12. When they went down to 8 members, they added 4 to bring them back up to 12. And that would make sense if your conference is called the Pac-12. You would at least need 12 members, or people will start calling you the Pac-10. Now, the options that are available for the Pac-12, yeah, they got some pretty good options. The only issue is they won't be paid for by any media company. They'll just be there for the quantity, which in fact would dwindle their revenue share, because if they're being offered a certain amount for the current 10 members, adding 4 more, or should I say 2 more, because they'll lose 2, that would only lower their payment amount. Plus they have to sort out the money that's owed to Comcast, and then also they have to find a partner that's going to carry them far as 100%. And we know streaming is the goal, and this is going to be about who's in on streaming and who's not, and so this clearly puts the Pac-12 in the 5th spot. Now, Oregon and Washington is kind of on an island, right? They will become, if they decide to stay and wait on the Big 10, if they don't decide to go to the Big 12, they will become considered the new UCLA and USC of the conference. But most media companies will not grant any of the Pac-12 members a substantial amount of revenue if they don't sign to at least a 12-year deal. So they have to lock in a deal like the ACC, which members are not trying to do that. So that's what's also putting the Pac-12 in a bind. No one knows pretty much what is going to happen in this next round of realignment. Well, you heard it here first, and I'm telling you that Colorado has already signed off joining the Big 12. It's just a matter of making that announcement. I believe Arizona is the next video that we're going to talk about. If they also joined and signed, sealed, delivered, where they going? They need to hear the numbers. The numbers they are hearing is not sounding pleasing. I'm thinking, right, and I mentioned this before, the numbers is roughly 20 plus million, anywhere from the 19 to 23 range, I believe, is what they're looking at in a sense of, at this moment. All right. So I don't think that they're going to get more than that before, actually after those two members leave. So when they leave, then you're dealing with the 4 other schools. Now, is these schools a good ad? I've been mentioning Boise State for a while. I know a lot of people mention that they only check one box, and that's in the football category. Well, it's kind of like a no-brainer. If everything is being thrived around football, then that makes that a good addition regardless. I understand academics, they can improve on that. I understand in other sports, they can improve on that. and having resources to do so would allow them to improve on that. So that's a no-brainer. They've been sitting there for the longest. I don't understand why no conferences jumped on them. That's in that region anyways a long time ago, because they have the most consistent record in football than just about any other prominent football team in that region. So they are a sleeping giant in that sense. I don't know what's taking long with adding them. They're a solid football program, and if football is what drive the numbers and football is what it's about, then that's a no-brainer. We shouldn't even be discussing anything else because it starts with football, right? And they have a solid football. That's a no-brainer. That's like adding, BYU or something. That's a no-brainer. Now, the other thing is, okay, SMU. Yes, SMU has a history. SMU is known for, its heydays way back when in the Southwest Conference, and they had a big following. They don't have that following now, but they had a following. And due to all the restraints that were put on them, they kind of lost interest in SMU, and it kind of went over to other teams. Like some of the fans that used to, like SMU, kind of went to the other Texas schools, like Texas Tech, like TCU, like Texas, like Houston. So some of those fans went there. Now, yes, it is true. All they need is just another spark to get things going again for people to believe in them. But at this point, they're so far behind that that's going to be years in the making. So is SMU a diamond in the rough? Kind of, sort of. Is that a rival of Houston? Yes, it is. It's an in-state rival between them. I guess that would be making a statement saying that, that's like an automatic scheduling right there if they join the Pac-12. But for the most part, if you look at all the other teams out there, yeah, that's reasonable. I'm just looking at the fact that they're the furthest out from the other schools. So SMU would be like playing all the schools out west versus, in their backyard. So that's kind of like a travel issue with adding SMU to the Pac-12. But they have potential. But that would take time building up. They do have a reasonable basketball program under Larry Brown. When he was there, they did well. So they have potential in basketball as well. It's a solid university academically. So yeah, they have potential. Now, UNLV, right? I've always seen potential in UNLV from a standpoint of branding, right? Yes, they haven't competed in basketball and football lately, especially basketball. As I mentioned before, UNLV is kind of known for basketball anyways. They're not known for football. But they would be, I can see them doing well in basketball. They could be that basketball team, in the next decade, right? The next decade of rebuilding, UNLV can be a solid basketball team, and they're in a good state, or a good city, should I say, to promote that. Football is a long shot. They have to compete with, they don't have no one to compete with in Vegas in particular. But most people are not going to go to UNLV, I don't think, for football. They would want to just go to UCLA or USC or something like that. They would probably go to Boise State before they would go there. But the branding is the key. And UNLV has branding potential. Last but not least, okay, we talked about Boise State, San Diego State. Yes, San Diego State. Okay, everybody know what they've done. Okay, they are not bad in football. They're actually good in football. They can hold their own. Basketball, y'all saw what they done this last year, making it to the national championships. But they didn't win. So they're kind of like ready. They are ready to go. They wouldn't be a good fit for the Big 12 because, for one, I don't believe the Big 12 is interested in going that far west to California. Or, I think their boundary line would be right there. Nevada would be as far as they would go. Utah and Nevada. I don't think they want to go into the all the way Pacific like that. They'll be good with the mountain time zone, and that's pretty decent, right? I don't think they're interested in any California schools, not Oregon and not Washington. Now, if Oregon and Washington wants to join the Big 12, they probably would. They would, open their arms with accepting them, but they're not going to go all out of their way to get any of those West Coast schools. Now, if they want to head to the Big 12, I'm pretty sure they can do a deal. It's a business thing. But far as going beyond the mountain time zone, I don't see no interest there. Now, San Diego State would be perfect for the Pac-12. Now, the issue is Kliavkoff is doing whatever he's doing, juggling all the stuff that he has to. He's not getting in the media. It's probably because he's a shy person, but the point is, time is of the essence, okay? Time is of the essence. If you're not getting on the ball with, making your current members comfortable with your leadership and what you're doing at the moment, then it's a good chance that they're going to go where they know they may have better leadership that can carry the ball and bring in the revenue to the schools like they intended. And so that's kind of like what's going on when you compare and contrast. Okay, who's going to have our best interest? Who understands the business side of this, college sports? Who is going to help us reach our goals? Who's going to put us in front of large audiences? Who's going to elevate our revenue as well as recognition and continue to help us to grow our brand? And that's what the compare and contrast is going to be when it comes to choosing the conference. And that's what's going on right now with these business decisions. So when you look at it now, as I go back to what I said before, Colorado has already set on paper to join the Big 12. And I believe that Arizona is also working those things out. And that's a good stopping point for now. As I mentioned, the Big 12 is most likely going to see what's going to go on with the ACC. And then if they want to add more, like let's say after adding those two schools and they feel they want to get to 16, I believe UConn is a strong possibility that UConn and another potential school would be available for that. But if the Pac-12 do not jump on Boise State, I believe the Big 12 should go ahead and add Boise State because, it's not too far from Utah, BYU, and it's in that mountain time zone. And like I said, also Boise State don't have a good TV market, but as I mentioned, there's always a substitute. When you don't have a professional sports and you have college, then that's all you need to kind of build up around that town to where the whole state of Idaho can become rooting for Boise State. And it's not just about Boise State, it's about the whole state of Idaho that's potentially could be the market. So it has potential to grow. So if football drive the numbers, then Boise State is a no-brainer for any conference who looking to add some competition or solid program in football. Boise State is just right there. I don't see why they're being slept on for this long. But anyways, Global News Sports, once again, thank y'all for listening, tuning in. You heard it here first. Like, subscribe, and till next time, peace.